Welcome to On Target Radio, Segment 6, where just because the show ends doesn't mean the conversation stops. Now here's your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Hi, welcome to Segment 6. I have on numerous occasions said our Commander-in-Chief and our President is the worst president in the history of the United States, and a few people have challenged me on that. They go, oh, you're a racist, or you're conservative, whatever.
Or what about Carter?
Yes, exactly. They'll go with Carter, which I think that's been surpassed.
Yeah,
so tonight, we're going to tell you why Obama is the worst president in history. Now, I was saying this on the break. Researching this I'm just like in my office cackling. This is so funny. I just finally stopped going, we can't cover it all. I got page after page after page.
It's a small book.
Yeah, of stuff this guy has done that is either illegal, well, mostly all illegal.
Yeah, it's pretty much all illegal.
It's pretty much all. Some of it is actually treasonous.
Right.
And
I narrowed down my top 5. I don't know if you were able to do that. But
I've got a bunch. My original idea was we could just sit here and read this, because it's a laundry list. It's astounding. Mm-hmm. But we would be here till probably morning.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You want to start with some?
Sure. My number 5 is that under Barack Obama, U.S. debt was downgraded from AAA status for the first time ever.
Never been done before.
Yes.
You got to be good at something.
And he's good at
Driving
that.
the country into the toilet is something.
He is good at that.
Hitting the pocketbook. The real median household income has decreased by more than $4,000 per home since Barack Obama entered the White House.
Yes, that's on the list as well. I think that's, well, no, that's not my number 1.
You did the gas one, didn't you? Yeah.
That's actually number 4 is the price of a gallon of gas. When Obama took office, the price of a gallon of gas was $1.85. That's the average for the whole country. It has been as high as over $4.
Over 4, that's right.
I believe, and right now it's back down to $2.29, and that's actually despite him, because that's a lot of it because of fracking.
Right.
And probably if asked, he would say he doesn't approve of that, but states individually have approved of it, and so
yeah. This hit me personally. Normally, over the course of history, when you come out of a recession, the value of your home goes up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
While he's president, the value of U.S. homes has fallen by 12%. When I refied to get a better rate, I noticed that.
Sure.
That was real obvious.
My number 3 is the U.S. government has run a budget deficit of well over $1 trillion every single year under him, and we sort of talked about that a little bit. He either doesn't think or doesn't care that there is a limit to how much money he can spend. That
Now, if you print it,
it's really our money that he's spending, and now he's spent all of our money. He's spending our children's money and our grandchildren's money now.
they just print money.
It's completely out of control.
The number, and we talked about this before the show started, this is the difference literally between liberals and conservatives. So, the number of Americans on food stamps has grown from 31.9 million when he took office to 46.4 million today, okay? Liberals think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Conservatives is how many we can take off of food stamps. Find them a real job, get them to support themselves. Liberalism is all about giving them stuff.
Right.
Classic example.
Buying votes, really. My number 2 worst thing is the total amount of money that the federal government gives directly to the American people has grown by 32% since Barack Obama became president. So that's the Obama phones, and that's the mortgage bailouts, and that's the food stamps.
Where my free shit?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all of that.
Yep. Got a list. If they call it the complete guide to Obama's scandals, lies, and screw-ups from A to Z. And you don't have to go into most of these. I'm going to read some of them. You'll know exactly what they are.
Right.
The classic one is the Associated Press. When the Associated Press was investigating liberals, Obama, all of a sudden they were subpoenaing records from the press, which brought them to heel. Now the press is like, they're all in the bag for Obama, because they don't want their phones tapped, they don't want their records taken. Benghazi, do you need to say anything about that at all?
No.
Okay? It was very clear there were people available. All this nonsense about they couldn't get anything to them was ridiculous. Aviano Air Base in Italy had American fighters sitting on the ramp, probably at most an hour's flight for a fighter, and they could have strafed the living snot out, because that thing went on for hours.
Oh,
Went
yeah.
on for hours.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They
It was most of the day.
clearly could have brought that to a halt. Didn't bother doing it. There was a story that really didn't get noticed because of timing. It was right when they got Osama bin Laden. This administration, it always seems like whenever they do something really underhanded, some big thing occurs, some mass shooting or something that gets on the front page.
Distract you over here where something else is
If I were a more cynical person.
Yeah, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Exactly. A Chinook helicopter, it had 38, this was, I think it was in Iraq, had 38 people on board, got shot down. Sort of never made it in the newspaper. 38 people got killed in that one. Drones shooting people from the sky. Now, in all fairness, drones started under GW. They started under George W. Bush. So, you know, fair is fair. However, under Bush, he used drones for his attack against people, insurgents. Every 43 days he averaged. Barack, who has the Nobel Peace Prize, is averaging a lethal attack with a drone every 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine if they'd given him 2 Peace Prizes, what he would have gotten. Yeah.
Well, is that because the availability of drones has increased too, maybe?
Maybe,
Yeah.
but killing people.
That's pretty ambitious. Every 4 days, that's pretty
That is.
ambitious.
And remember, this is the guy who said it's okay to kill Americans over there. Now, there's a lot to be said for an American that goes over there, you know, and goes on the other side.
Yeah.
But if you are an American, there is a due process issue. You're a citizen.
Right.
You're supposed to have
It's
due
a
process.
constitutional right.
If ever there was a case where someone should be tried in a U.S. court, it's an American.
Right.
Okay? But to bring in people who are behind the World Trade Center, that's a war. And you don't bring them in, shoot them.
Yeah, they're going to be combative.
Eric Holder. You really don't have to say a lot.
Yeah, that's.
If you say Eric Holder,
basically sufficient.
that pretty much sums everything up right there. He is the only sitting member, I want to read this, the only sitting cabinet member to be held in contempt of Congress. That's a stellar record.
It
It
is.
really, puts yourself out there
Impressive.
above everyone else. And basically the note is, if there was a scandal in the White House, somehow Eric Holder was involved. Fort Hood.
Yeah.
Here you got a guy practicing Muslim, admittedly practicing Muslim, anti-American statements on Facebook, associates with suspected terrorists, kills a bunch of people at work, and they call it workplace violence.
Right.
Couldn't possibly be jihad.
No.
No. Guantanamo, we're going to pull out, we're going to close it, you do that. And then, of course, we have health care.
Well, that was my number one, actually, was Obamacare.
Do Obamacare.
Townhall.com says Barack Obama genuinely deserves to be impeached, not just once, but twice for Obamacare. From top to bottom, the entire program is sold on lies. It says Obamacare could have never passed if the American people had known those promises were bald-faced lies. Since the bill became law, Obama has illegally altered it more than 20 times to try to delay the damaging political impact to the Democrat Party. So he pushed this law through, he crammed it down our throats. More than 50% of the American people didn't want it, even when it did pass, and that number's even higher now. And
Couldn't even get the website to work.
right, spent all that money when, you know, a high school kid could probably put together a functional website for him. But it's like, okay, Congress is supposed to write laws, and he's going and like altering the law.
They passed the
himself.
law,
And
he's the one who starts changing it
it's been
arbitrarily.
subject to so many challenges in the Supreme
Yeah.
Court. You know, every part of it that can be challenged is being challenged, and you know, added to that, it will add 16 million more Americans to Medicaid rolls.
Which is exactly what we need.
Because if your income is low enough for you to get on Medicaid, and they're going to penalize you if you don't have insurance, so people just sign up for Medicaid to avoid the penalty. So, and I would have been in that situation as well. I signed up for one of the Christian alternatives so that I could escape that. But, you know, I didn't have, you know, insurance provided by an employer at the time when that was kicking in. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go on your damn website and give you access to my personal information.
And which is what they want.
And right, and I'm not, you know, if you sign up for Medicaid, it severely limits the doctors that you can see. And I'm like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah.
I refuse.
Then you have the IRS thing. This is the petty, petulant, vindictive human being. If he doesn't like you, he sticks the IRS on you. This is back to Nixon. They excoriated
Nixon.
Nixon.
Or some other government agency.
Right. They excoriated Nixon because he had a list of people who were his opponents. And it was wrong. You know, and we've talked about Nixon many times.
Yeah.
He just literally sicked the IRS on entire groups. If you were in a Tea Party,
yeah. If your group makes an application and it either has like Patriot or Tea Party or Freedom or something else in the name, you're going to be subjected to additional scrutiny.
Totally off the charts. The other thing is the Keystone Pipeline. Everybody wants the Keystone Pipeline. We're talking about U.S. oil, okay? 1,700 miles, $7 billion project would have delivered 700,000 barrels of oil a day. Can't do that, okay? That's bad. So the money goes to like Mexico and places like that.
That was one of mine too. And the way this is worded is priceless. Instead of allowing American companies to drill for oil here, Obama has betrayed the American people and authorized loans of billions of dollars to countries like Brazil and Mexico so that they can drill for oil and then sell the oil to us. And it's a betrayal. You know, the numbers that I've heard about what the energy sector would be doing as far as our economy goes, if they would just start, you know, allow drilling, allow Keystone, allow a lot of these energy exploration, our economy would explode. We're already the #1 oil producer in the world now.
We are now,
We've surpassed OPEC.
And that's being held back.
Right, exactly, exactly. Our economy would explode with success if they would just let us drill for energy producing substances.
Back in the early 2000s, I did, for the magazine, for about a year, I researched the petroleum industry. And this guy found out I was doing that. He was a oil guy. And he would take me with him on his jet. He had massive holdings in Utah. I forget what they call it, the Pennsylvania Shelf or something like that. I can't remember what they call it. And he would say to me, as far as you can see, there's oil under this land. He goes, it is everywhere. It goes up through Utah, makes a right turn, goes out. There's a massive amount of oil here, and they won't let us go for it. We can't drill for it. And they're always talking about environmental this, environmental that. When the one in Alaska, what was the name of that? Anwine.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we can't do that because it disrupts the animals.
It's fragile.
Right, it's fragile. Let me tell you something. I went on, just as an example, I was doing an article on the Grand Canyon tour, helicopter tour operators. And, you know, the Clinton front-end loaded all of the organizations like the Forest Service and all that with Sierra Club members so that everybody that's attached to the environment after Clinton is all liberal, you know, you can't do anything. So they were trying to shut down helicopter operators in the canyon. So I go to do a story about it. I don't know anything about it. I know they're there, that's all. I'm going to go and do a story about it. Well, okay, here's a couple interesting things. First of all, they don't fly in the part of the canyon where there are people. They fly in the far west end, not the end where all the people go. So they did a study, the Forest Service, or no, National Parks did a study. They asked people coming out of the canyon after being on whitewater rafting and camping trips, they go, it was a survey, how'd you like your trip? And one of the questions was, did the helicopters bother you? Nobody knew they were there. Nobody had heard of helicopters.
Right.
So that study got published and ditched. Within a month, it was gone, okay? Because it was wrong, didn't have what they wanted.
Right.
So all the helicopters are in the other end of the canyon where there are no people. It's inaccessible. Now, we're flying, and I'm looking, you know, I'm a pilot, I'm watching the gauges. We're 300 feet off the ground. There's a herd, or whatever you call it, of wild horses. They don't even look up. They don't even notice that we go by. This notion that we're disturbing. The other thing was, I'm out on an oil platform doing the petroleum thing. I'm out in the Gulf of Mexico on a platform. These are such horrible places. We shouldn't be doing it. We got to take them down. They ruin the environment. They kill. These guys are fishing off the platform. It's phenomenal fishing. It's habitat. Fish live under the platforms because it's habitat. There's giant schools of fish. It's not harming the environment. It's true, there have been some occasions where there have been spills, and they've been, it's been nasty. Right, it's been nasty stuff. But when you look, we've always recovered from it. They've had to clean it up, but we've always recovered. And we're producing massive amounts of oil out of the Gulf.
Right.
And they're restricting that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Okay, you're drilling for oil that comes from the earth.
Yes, not space, Earth.
Right, I mean, it's not a manufactured product, it's a natural product. It is created within the earth, that's why we're able to clean it up. It's part of the environment.
And you know, these guys are so sophisticated. They have geosynchronous platforms now. They're ships, and they go miles down into the water with the drilling pipe. And these ships have these, like, they're almost like Star Wars. I mean, they're little jets on all the way around, and they're in geosynchronous with satellites. And that puppy, no matter what the weather is, it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits in that spot drilling. I mean, it's amazing stuff that they do out there. It really is. So Obama is dead set against all that kind of stuff. Turned out they basically buried the Keystone Pipeline. Even Bill Clinton wanted the Keystone Pipeline. You know, come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
One of my favorite is Monsanto. I just find this really ironic. The world's leading producer of genetically modified foods, and it says, which means they're the company who openly puts toxins, allergens, and diseases into our food. Okay, the president of Monsanto, who Obama hires and puts him in charge of the FDA. So the guy who runs a company that produces this stuff, I'm beginning to sound like a liberal, they hire him to be in charge of the FDA. There's something wrong with that.
Conflict of interest.
You don't sound like a liberal, you sound like a granola person. Like the,
Well, that's true.
Like the homeschoolers and
Well, let me get my Birkenstocks.
yeah, like my
over
sister.
there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
my sister.
Like your sister, yeah.
Only feeds her kids organic food.
Right.
And you know, if something is GMO, it's like the Antichrist and
Yeah.
no high fructose corn syrup, and that's my sister.
This is pretty much everything I eat every day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's your diet.
And it's good. Well, but the reality is anything that tastes good is bad for you, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I've tried to tell you before, and you're not having it.
Is what?
I've tried to tell you
Yeah,
that before. You're not having it.
You know what? None of us comes out of this alive, okay? So you might as well enjoy the trip. My personal favorite, not in a good way, Operation Fast and Furious. If there's anything this man has ever done that is criminal, flat out criminal, masterminding, forcing gun dealers in the U.S., making them cooperate with the feds, making them sell guns to people they know are drug cartel. And then those guns coming back, and they did it specifically so when they come back into this country and people get killed with them, they can say, need more gun control.
Right.
That's out. It's public information now. That's not like a conspiracy theory.
Well, and the thing about that is, I mean, I'm sure Obama was aware of it and possibly even, you know, in on the idea, but it really came from Eric Holder and Hillary Clinton.
Right, but Eric Holder is the AG who works for Obama. for anyone to think Obama
but
doesn't know this.
I'm saying it's even more insidious because now this is the woman who's running for president.
And she's made no bones about she would disarm the entire population.
Right.
Made no bones, she's running on it.
Yeah.
She's running on it.
She's completely open about it. And we haven't even mentioned that he's pretty much told Customs and Immigration not to enforce illegal immigration laws.
Totally porous border.
Yeah.
They don't even try.
Right. Not only did he do the amnesty for the young people, but you know he's pretty much told all the government agencies we're not enforcing you know our immigration laws unless they're like an actual felon.
And look at what we didn't get to cover tonight, which was on our list for segment 3, I think. These sanctuary cities,
right.
And I didn't read the whole thing, in a few months are going to be releasing up to 9.
No, they already have.
They have already released?
Yeah, that was a study of of like a 9-month period.
Like 9,000.
9,200.
There you go.
Yeah.
Illegal aliens who've committed a crime.
Yeah.
These are criminals,
They're
illegal aliens. And
Right.
instead of deporting their ass, getting them out of the country, they're just letting them go.
Yeah.
I told you that time we pulled over a truck with about 8 or 9 Mexicans in the truck.
Yeah.
They all ran in different directions. They just left the truck, but I got the driver. He had no documentation. He was illegal. And we called Homeland Security and go, I got this guy. He's got no papers. He's illegal.
Don't care.
They don't care. They don't want him.
Yeah.
And they can't argue it's the expense of being able to deport them because we spend so much money on it.
Well, you're supporting them. It's got to be cheaper to just put them on an airplane.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Put a couple of bag ties on them, put them in cargo.
Well, I was going
dump
to
them off
say,
somewhere.
you don't have to. They don't have to be transported in luxury. You can put them on a
Right.
school bus and ship them back down there.
Right, put them in the cattle car, right?
Right.
The short bus.
Why
The
not?
short bus.
How
kidding,
about
but-
the military transport vehicle that we rode on that one time?
Exactly.
That's sufficiently.
And maybe he'll shoot. Maybe he'll shoot himself in the turret. And then we have another one of my favorites is Solyndra. That was a great undertaking. That was a president's pet project.
Yeah, there was Solyndra. There was actually another one too. There was 2.
Yeah, there were 2. I
There were
forget the other name.
2 solar companies that both
Yeah.
failed. They had given hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of $1 million to Solyndra, and it
And
just
the other
tanked.
one, yeah.
It totally tanked. The technology didn't work. Totally tanked.
Yeah.
And then you got the VA scandal. I mean, this just goes on and on and on. Stuff that he said he would do when he ran, totally reversed once he got elected.
Yeah.
We don't want to be here all night. The point is, with no effort at all, when I typed in Barack Obama crappy job or something like that, it just barfs out stuff.
Right. I did that search the other day too when I said that we wanted to talk about treason with Nick Ficarello and Craig Bukovic, and so I typed in Obama treason. That's a slam dunk as well.
I got 16 pages of stuff that is either illegal or very shady or anti-American or outright treasonous. And that took me no time at all to collect that.
Not even trying.
None at all.
Yeah.
So the intent of today's show, unlike other shows where we try to solve problems,
Right.
not that we
This is
ever,
just a bitch session.
not that we ever have, but there was no intent to solve a problem here. This list right here tells you why this guy needs to go.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Tell you what, he pissed me off with this whole thing after the Oklahoma shooting, where he says, "Oh, I speak for speak for behalf of gun owners."
Yeah. He was real fast and free with that, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and he likes to use these phrases like, responsible gun owners know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For the first time since I forget when, probably since the Brady bill went into effect, for the first time the American public, in a third-party, non-prejudicial survey, the majority of Americans, like 52 or 53%, are going, we don't need more gun laws. Gun laws aren't the problem.
Oh yeah, that came out several months ago.
Yeah. So, didn't even try to solve anything. I maintain this is the worst president in the history of the country. I think
Hopefully we got everybody cranked up.
cranked up. This election in 2016, I'm wagging my finger at
This is a
you.
big deal.
This election in 2016 is way bigger than most people think.
Yeah.
Major. If it's Hillary Clinton, this country is going down the toilet,
We're doomed.
big time.
I agree.
That's it for this week. Next week, I have no idea what we're gonna do, but we always do something cool.
Pretty much.
Thanks.